This video will show you how to set up and take down your display. Frame assembly and graphics installation will require the use of ladders or tall step stools. A crew of several persons is recommended. Brain assembly. First, lay out all the pieces for the dome of the brain room. Notice that each piece has a number at the connection point. Connect like-numbered pieces together to form the dome. The Velcro on the inside of the dome will come into play when applying the graphics. That completes part 1 of creating the brain. Next, we'll create the top disc for the brain room. Again, each piece has a number at the connection point. After inserting at the connection point, it may be necessary to twist the insert to lock into place. You'll notice the Velcro on these pieces. It should face down on all pieces. To place the last crossbar in place, stand the disc up and insert the bar. Once the disc is complete, place it, Velcro side down, on top of the brain dome, aligning with the alphabetic A, B, C, D. Use through bolts to attach the disc to the frame at set locations. That completes the dome top. Now we begin the frame stand. Each piece is numbered. Attach like-numbered pieces, starting with the bottom piece and building up. Work your way around the frame. Next, you'll put the graphics on the dome frame. Make sure you wash your hands prior to handling the graphics. Place the dome graphic on top of the dome, lining up the two holes with the side pipes on the frame. Place the dome on top of the frame, lining up the bolts on the underside of the dome with holes on the top of the frame. Now place the artwork on the exterior of the standing frame. This graphic covers inside and outside of the frame. Bring the graphic inside the structure. Starting at a doorway, slide the graphic under the frame. You want the frame to sit on the seam. Work your way around the standing frame. Ease up the graphic around the frame. These graphics attach to the dome top with a series of zippers. Start with one zipper at a doorway and zip a few inches together. Then go to the other door and attach the graphic with the zipper there before completely zipping the entire piece. Make sure that the corners of the doorway frame are correctly placed into the point of the fabric. This is very important. Now it's time to complete the interior graphics, starting with the ceiling. The ceiling has Velcro strips on the back that line up with the Velcro strips on the interior dome frame. Take the round ceiling graphic and zip it into the interior wall graphic. Stand on a ladder and push the center of the ceiling into the top of the dome frame, attaching it to the Velcro on the dome disc. Next, push each seam of the ceiling graphic onto the frame, attaching the Velcro on the underside of the seam to the Velcro on the underside of the dome. To secure the Velcro strip around the edge of the ceiling to the circumference of the dome frame, unzip the attached ceiling from the interior wall and press the Velcro in place. Then zip it back up. Double-check the connection at the center of the dome. Next, attach the ponytails. Each ponytail has a metal insert. Attach ponytails to the frame using the metal attachment piece. Make sure it's fully inserted into the frame. You've completed the brain. Room frame assembly. First, determine the location of the booth. Then begin at the upper left corner, room 10. Begin assembly in the booth at that corner. working your way backwards room by room from 10 to 1. You'll install all of the panoramic framework first, including headers, then install the graphics, and finally add the doors. First, lay out all frame parts for room 10. Frame pieces are labeled by room. Vertical posts have the word top near the top ends. All frames have letters near their ends where they join. Labeling corresponds to floor plan and frame detail drawings. Arrange the bottom horizontal sections in place. These pieces have connectors already installed, and the sections will be labeled with letters. Place the vertical posts down onto the corner connectors on the horizontal sections. The green screws are called D screws. Finger tighten the D screws. Make sure that each post fits flush and secure. Any gaps will cause problems when the graphics are applied. Slide the top horizontal sections onto the vertical posts. Tighten the D screws on the vertical posts. Now assemble and install the large bar. This piece is created by connecting two shorter pieces into one long piece, and tighten the black screw knobs. Attach these to the frame. Because of their length, a support bar must be attached in the middle of the long bar. The placement of the support bars is marked. Now install the headers at the top of the doorways. Slightly loosen the pre-installed bolts. Align T-nuts with the grooves in the vertical posts. The top of the header should line up with the top of the vertical end cap. Tighten the bolts until snug. Next, install the thresholds at the exterior doorways. Set the threshold down, lift up the frame edge, and insert the threshold connector into the vertical post. Tighten the two screws into the vertical post. With room 10 complete, you'll be building room 9 by anchoring frame pieces to room 10. Vertical posts of room 9 will attach to the vertical posts of room 10. Continue building all rooms according to the assembly plans. The entry mouth has its own assembly process that will be discussed in a moment. The door should be installed after the graphics have been applied. For the purposes of this video, we'll show you how to install the door prior to the graphics application. The door comes pre-assembled. The hinge plate and connections come pre-installed on the door and on the frame. From outside the booth, hold the door off the floor a few inches at just over a 90-degree angle. Line up the top and bottom hinges on the door over the hinge pins on the frame. Lower the door onto the pins. The door should sit squarely in the door frame. If for some reason the door isn't square in the frame, tighten the turnbuckle to square the door. The door stays closed because this door side knob fits in a groove on the door frame. If the door isn't closing correctly, turn the screw at the knob to slide the knob out or in to fit the frame correctly. Again, put all the wall graphics on the frame prior to putting the doors on the frame. After the door is attached, apply the graphics to the door. Then attach the hardware to the inside and outside of the door and insert the keys. Put on the graphics. The graphics for each room are located in a clear plastic bag labeled with the room number. Place each bag in the correct room. Look at the assembly plans and you'll see the graphic layout for each room. We'll be placing graphics in room 8 for the purposes of this video. Look at room 8 on the plans. The plans show the graphic placement of each panel and also show where in the room to begin placing the graphics on the wall. For room 8, we'll start placing graphics in the corner, next to the doorway to room 7. Each graphic panel has a white tab with the room number on it. This tab will always be located at the lower left-hand corner. There are silicone strips along the edge of each graphic. The strip fits into a groove on the frame. Start with the outside corners and insert the strip into each corner. Go to the middle of the graphic and insert the strip at the middle. Then insert the strip all the way around the graphic. While the tendency is to run your finger along the graphic to get it into the groove, don't do that. It will stretch out the artwork. After the graphic is fully attached, if you need to run your finger around to smooth it out, that's fine. The interior corners are more difficult to work with. Insert the silicone strip into the interior corner before the outside frame, so you have a bit of leeway with the fabric. There are horizontal lines on the artwork that need to line up. If the lines on the artwork you're working with do not line up, you'll need to pull out the silicone strip from the fully attached wall and work with the pieces until they're correctly aligned. The easiest way to get the silicone out is to go around behind the panel and slightly push the fabric where it's attached to the frame. After lining up the artwork, reattach the silicone into the frames. Apply all interior graphics first. Then apply the exterior graphics in the same fashion. The exterior graphics are larger and may require 2 or more people to apply. Build the mouth. Now create the mouth entryway. Lay out the pieces of the mouth before beginning assembly. The pieces are numbered. Connect the outside frame first. Attach the rounded frame pieces. Attach the oval base plates to the bottom horizontal pieces. Bolt the attachment plates to the top of the mouth frame. Next, put the graphics on the mouth. For purposes of this video, the graphics are not attached. After the graphics are in place, position the mouth at the entryway of the display. Lift the frames up over the mouth base plates. Align the hole in each plate with the hole at the top of each vertical post. The flagpoles will attach the mouth to the existing framework. Thread the flagpoles through the plates and into the tops of the vertical post. Do not over-tighten. This is very important. Slip the flag sleeve over the top of the pole. Place the rest of the flagpoles and flags at the designated areas marked with blue ink. Place additional items. Put the tongue rug down in the entryway. Place the toothbrushes, floss, and teeth in room 1. Attach the lungs in room 6 by placing the attachment hook into the groove at the top of the frame. Place the skeleton in room 8. Breakdown and storage of room materials. Start by removing the additional items: rug, toothbrushes, skeleton, and lungs, packing them in their appropriate containers. Place the labeled large clear bags the graphics came in into each room. Removing the graphics will be easier than putting them up. On each graphic panel, there's a tab at the lower left-hand corner. Pull the tab and the artwork pulls away from the frame. Carefully fold the graphic panel artwork side in. And place in the plastic bag. Before removing the graphics from the doors, remove the keys and the hardware used to open the door and place them in their plastic bags. When removing the graphics from the door, pay special attention to pull the graphic out and away from the protruding hardware permanently attached to the door. Pulling straight up will result in tearing the fabric. When removing the graphic from the mouth frame, unscrew the flagpoles from the top and slide the framework out to remove the artwork. After disassembling the mouth framework, tighten all the set screws and locks for transportation. Wrap all flags individually in foam for storage in the Sprinter van. To take down the framework, start in room 10. As you remove pieces, place them together per room. First, take down the header by loosening the screws with the Allen wrench. Next, remove the short top bars at the doorway by loosening the 2 vertical D screws. Only loosen the 2 vertical screws, not the single horizontal D screw. That would loosen the connection of the metal hardware. After the short top bars are removed, remove the vertical doorway bars by unscrewing the vertical D screws and lifting the post up. On the long walls that have a support beam, remove the beam with the Allen wrench. Removal of the long bars are next. Place 2 people on ladders, unscrew the vertical D screws, and remove the bar. Disassemble the 2 pieces that make up the long bar before packing in the van. Now remove the remaining posts by unscrewing the D screws and lifting off. Posts labeled with 2 numbers should be packed with the items of the first number room. For example, this post marked 10-9 should be packed with room 10. This post marked 5-4 should be packed with room 5. Once room 10 is disassembled, move to room 9, then room 8, and so on. Next, pack the frame pieces in the van. First, put a layer of foam on the shelf, then place a piece of the frame. In an over and under fashion, place additional pieces of the frame and the foam so the pieces are isolated from each other and are protected. Each shelf in the van is labeled with a room number. Place the corresponding room pieces on the shelf labeled for that room. The doors are packed in the van turned on their sides. Breakdown and storage of the brain. First, remove the ponytails and place them in their protective silver bag. Next, go inside and unzip the ceiling graphic from the side wall graphics. Gently pull the ceiling piece away from the Velcro and fold. Now unzip the exterior roof from the exterior wall with the zipper at the doorways. Before dropping the side walls, it's best to put a drop cloth or large sheet of cardboard under the brain frame to keep the graphic as clean as possible when it drops to the floor. Now, lift the top dome cover from the ponytail posts, remove and fold. Lift up the frame to remove the graphic. Next, lifting straight up on the dome, pulling the pins up and out of their holes, remove the top of the structure and put it on the floor. Remove the dome disc by unscrewing the wing nuts. Take apart the disc, starting at the obvious red pipe. Disassemble the half-round section first, then the rest of the disc. Keep all the pieces together. Now break down the dome. Start at a ponytail pipe. Have someone brace the dome with their foot on the opposite side for the first pipe removal. Push in the button and release the pipes. Work around the dome. Stack the pieces together. To break down the standing frame, remove the top portions first. Next, the vertical pieces, then break down the bottom parts. The rounded dome pieces stack and should be tied and placed at the front of the Sprinter van.